everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you guys so much for the positive response on my last video. Even though y'all ain't here to hear Mary talk about her life, you are here to talk about books, and so I appreciate all of the kind words and lovely responses. But today we are getting back to books because that is what we are all here for. Now, prior to Dad having his heart attack, I went on a giant book haul shopping trip because I've got several thrift stores in my area. First of all, I've got like a million Goodwills, you guys. Some Goodwills have better books than other Goodwills. Like, anybody else who goes thrift store shopping, certain stores are known for better books than others. We also have a couple of used bookstores. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but we have a place called Second and Charles. I think this is a chain. It's new to me because it just opened in Highland, Indiana, which is near where I live. And it's opened maybe 2-3 years ago, and I love it. And it reminds me a lot when I lived in Indianapolis and when I lived in Virginia, there was a place called Half Price Books, which I think everybody knows Half Price Books. And Second and Charles is very similar. They have used books. You can also get new. They have a new book section, but they have used books primarily that are just marked down that have been either traded in, because they're a buy-seller trade store, and they buy, sell, and trade books, music, movies, and records, musical instruments, and like memorabilia type stuff. So like little like fandom things like Star Wars figurines and, you know, Star Trek stuff or whatever, that kind of stuff, Harry Potter figurines, that kind of thing. And I think they're a chain, pretty sure they are, but we have one, and they have a dollar book bin that they have out every so often. They'll get a dollar book bin. And then I also ended up just buying a book from Sam's Club because I saw it and it looked interesting. So I went and got a few books from Second and Charles. I ended up getting a ton of books from Goodwill because Goodwill had their 50% off sale, which the books are already, like, their paperbacks are like 50 cents, and the paperbacks, the little trade paperbacks are 75. The ones that are slightly bigger paperbacks are like, I said that backwards. The trade paperbacks are 50. The ones that are a little bit bigger are 75. Hardbacks are like $1. And then, like, the textbook size ones are like $1.50 or something. I don't know, something like that. It's sad that I have this memorized. But anyway, they had their 50% off sale. So I meant I was going to get a ton of books for like $1/4 a book. So I think all of the books I'm showing you today, including the one I got from Sam's Club, the total cost of the entire thing was like $20 for all of the books I got, which is just insane. And I got a ton. Most of these are romance. Some of them are not. And before I show you all the books I bought, just a little side note. So I have not bought a lot of physical books, as you guys know, because I couldn't read them. So I have been living on my Kindle app or on my Kindle for 6-7 years now because I couldn't read anything. But now that I finally broke down and got bifocals, like I should have done in the first place, I can actually read books. So I've been hitting up my library, which is exciting. And then I also bought a ton because y'all know Mary's got her library project coming up in October where I'm going to start my home library. So I was like, you know what, for $1/4 a book, I'm going to buy books, and if I don't like them, I'll just donate them back to Goodwill. So there you go. And then part 2 of this is because I have been reading on Kindle for so long, it was interesting trying to find books to pick up from the store because I love dark romance, gritty, emotional, Mafia, contemporary, hardcore, hard-hitting romance books. That's what you see primarily on like Kindle Unlimited and some of these indie published authors. So a lot of the books at the thrift store are not indie published authors because, let's be honest, most indie published are selling ebooks. Most people are not buying their paperbacks. Some do, but not. I don't buy a lot of indie published paperbacks. I have a ton of ebooks, not a lot of paperbacks. So I was getting really discouraged the first couple stores because I was like, there's nothing here that I want to pick up. But I did find some gems and I bought them, and we're going to see how it goes. I had to go a little lighter on my reading than I prefer. but it's okay. All right, so 2 big bags full. You're gonna hear my bags. I would apologize, but I'm not sorry. All right, first one. We have Julia London's American Idol. No, American Diva. American Idol. Like the TV show. American Diva. Now, I have read Julia London's historical romances. I've not read anything contemporary from her. And what I understand is this is like a bodyguard type romance. So you have Jack Price, who it says his dream is to own and operate a flight school. And he gets the opportunity to guard, a bodyguard, for the latest pop sensations that will take him one step closer monetarily to achieving his goal. And then you've got Audrey LaRue, who has become the latest it girl overnight. Everybody wants her, and she's hounded by paparazzi and fans, and her A-list status turned her into a Class A bitch. But that's what it says on the back. That's not me cussing. But then she meets Jack Price, her bodyguard, and apparently they have a romance, because this is a romance novel. So it sounds good. I mean, I like bodyguard romance, so I picked it up. And I do like Julia London's historicals, so I've never read a contemporary or like anything that's not historical, so I'm interested in seeing what that looks like. Bending over to get books. Next book I got, this one I'm not so sure about. Okay, can I just say, what is up with the cartoon covers? I hate these cartoon covers. They're like on all the new books now, and I cannot stand them. Can we have, can you do something like this, or do like a Twilight cover? Do we have to do, anyway, I don't like these. Anyways, this one's called The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory? I'm calling it Guillory. Don't know if that's correct. This one is a woman who, is it Drew? Alexa and Drew. And Alexa agrees to go to a wedding with a guy she gets stuck in an elevator with. So it sounds like a whole fake dating trope. If you read the back, it sounds like a fake dating trope. I mean, by the cover, it looks like this is going to be like more of a rom-com, which is not typically what I like to read. But I'm going to check it out, because why not? Also, this cover is really sticky. I disinfected it, and I put Goog on, and I cannot get the sticky off. But we'll see. I don't know. Alright, next one. This one is, I think, a Christian novel. It's called Runaway Saint. And this one is by Elisa Sampson. This one sounded interesting to me. It is definitely like a Christian romance, because it's Thomas Nelson Publishers, and they publish a lot of Christian. So anyways, it says, Sarah Drexel is an artist with a supportive husband, a hip young business, and a house that her neighbors openly admire. By all appearances, she has it all figured out. But beneath the surface, she's restless and her faith has evaporated. Talks about her Aunt Belle, who used to be a missionary in Kazakhstan, 20 years, and then suddenly she shows up on Sarah's doorstep, and she's looking for a place to crash without any explanation about why she's no longer in Afghanistan, or in Kazakhstan, not Afghanistan, Kazakhstan. And so it's kind of like this, it's a mystery, and trying to figure out what her aunt is running from, and blah, blah, blah. It sounded interesting, and again, I paid a whopping 25 cents for this, so I'm like, we're gonna check it out, because why not? Next one I picked up, again, this is gonna be super long. This one is by Maya Banks, Keep Me Safe. I read Maya Banks' book Rush and hated it, because it was like a 50 Shades of Grey wannabe. I know that she tends to write more on the like erotic side. This one is by Avon Books, which makes me think that perhaps it won't be that bad, but we shall see. And I'm not quite sure how this all works, but it's something about like, I think her family gets kidnapped and she hires him to be an investigator, if I'm correct. Oh no, so Caleb is the man in the book, and his younger sister is kidnapped. And Rami, I think it's Rami, R-A-M-I-E, is a person who has like a psychic ability to talk to the dead. So he reaches out to her to find out what happened to his sister, and they somehow fall in love. So it sounds like it might be a little bit like mystery / maybe a touch of paranormal type thing. It sounded intriguing. And again, I only read one book by Maya Banks and didn't like it, but I always am willing to give an author another try. And again, for 25 cents, why not? So we're going to see if I like it. All right, next one. Okay, I would have normally never, well, this is not the one. Victoria Dahl, A Little Bit Wild. I actually remember reading her books back in the day. Back in the day, I used to read several of her books. I don't know if this is a newer one. This might be an older one, actually. Because I don't think she's written anything in a while. This is from 2010. So yeah, it's a little bit older. And this one is that he is a dance instructor. And she is betrothed to the son of a duke. And he's supposed to teach her how to dance, so that she can have the social graces needed to be married to the son of a duke. It's obviously a historical romance, so this should be interesting. We'll see. Then I have got the last two in this bag, and then I got the next bag. Okay, I would normally never pick up a book that's this bad with the spine. Like, this makes me cringe, but it's Tessa Dare. It's a Tessa Dare that I've not read before, and can we check out the Step Back? Hello, Step Back, you're beautiful. And I love Step Backs. I love Tessa Dare. I have not read a book by her I've never read. This one's called The Governess Game. I think I haven't read this one. Is this a newer one by her? But I don't remember reading this one. If I've read this one, I don't remember it. I may have, but I really don't think I have. This one was printed in 2018, so I may have read this one already. I was excited to find a book with a Step Back, but again, this makes me cry a little bit. It's okay. We're going to get some tape, and we're going to make that a little sturdier than it is, and I'll read it. But I don't remember this book. Truly don't remember this book. But I mean, it's Tessa Dare, and I think I've read all of her stuff. So we'll see. I don't know. All right. And then the next one is called Night Echoes by Holly Lyle. This one is kind of like a mystery type thing. It's a romance, but a mystery. So the story goes that Emma Beck returns home to her home in South Carolina and moves into an old Civil War farmhouse that she plans to restore. And it says that she meets Mike Rule, the young contractor she hires to help fix her up. But she starts to feel frightened when she recognizes Mike as a recurring face in her paintings, including one in Confederate uniform. So basically, he's like a ghost type thing. I think I've read, or not read, but I watched a movie. It's a Christmas movie. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's a Christmas movie where the guy's like a Civil War ghost and she falls in love with the Civil War ghost. Is it a Hallmark movie or a Lifetime movie? Maybe it's a Netflix movie. I don't know, but this kind of reminded me of that. Same premise. I'm pretty sure, it doesn't tell you, but I'm pretty sure he's a ghost or being possessed by a ghost. Don't know. Sounded intriguing. Picked it up. Now, on to my second bag of books. Second bag of books. Alright, guys. So, next one. This is a big one. Look at this one. This is huge. Huge. And the writing is kind of small. I may hate myself for this. It is called True Colors by Kristen Hanna. This is definitely a lot lighter than I would go, because you can tell by beach scene, girls, you know, I don't usually read this kind of stuff, but this one is intriguing because I love familial stories. Anything that's got a strong family vibe, I love. And this one is about sisters. So it's the Gray sisters who were shattered by their mother's death while they were still young and were always banded together against the distant chill of their father. But the father passes away. So this is about all the sisters coming back to their hometown, dealing with the death of their father, unraveling some like family mysteries. This is definitely more of like a women's fiction, chick lit type thing. I don't think it has romance. It might. There's one girl in here who's supposed to be like falling in love with a hometown boy that she had a romance with back in high school or something. But I love strong family relationship books, so this one seemed interesting, and I'm kind of excited to read it. This one, again, can we not, with the covers that are cartoons? I hate you. The Hating Game. This one has been talked about 1.5 million times here on BookTube. I did not read it yet, because again, I don't usually do rom-coms, and I don't know, I've heard some people love this, some people hate this. I'm not going to talk too much about it because Y'all have probably seen as many videos about this book as I have, but here we go. The Hating Game for a quarter. I couldn't pass it up. Next one. This one is an old one, but I've not read the book. This is Water for Elephants. I don't think I have to talk much about this. This was a movie at one point. I never saw the movie and never read the book. I've always wanted to. I've talked about watching the movie and reading the book. Never did it. I could hate this. Don't know. Picked it up because, again, it was a quarter. So why not? And we're going to see. If I hate it, I don't have to keep it. And then the last one, this seemed like a really interesting book. It's a hardback book, too. And this one's called We Are Gathered by Jamie Wiseman. And this one is another one that I think is like a chick lit type thing. It's not romance, but it seemed interesting. So it takes place at a wedding. So it talks about one afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia. 2 people are heading to the wedding and 150 guests are there. And it's actually going through different stories among the guests. So it's each chapter is a different guest and you're talking about like things going on in their life. So literally each chapter is like about a person. Like the one who's the big dreamer, and then what's the next one? Find another chapter heading. The Fucked Up Nipple is the one chapter. It's called The Fucked Up Nipple. And then one chapter is called, I'm trying to find another chapter heading because some of these are long. Basically, it's like short stories, but not, if that makes sense. You get the idea. It's basically like short stories, but not short stories. Each chapter is about a different person, and then the last chapter is about the couple getting married. So anyways, it seemed fun because it's kind of like a collection of short stories, but they're all connected together in the book because they're all guests of this wedding. So I thought it was kind of fun. All right, this one is the one that I bought from Sam's Club. This is a newer book, and I had to pick this one up. The Suicide House by Charlie Donnelly. Because, let me tell you a little side story, because you guys know I love like ghost stories and paranormal. I love all that stuff. Love it. That's why I started out reading paranormal romance. This one takes place in Indiana. Listen to the back of this book and tell me that you would not pick this book up. Here we go. Inside the walls of Indiana's elite Westmont Preparatory High School, expectations run high and rules are strictly enforced. But in the woods beyond the manicured campus sits an abandoned boarding house, infamous among Westmont students as a late-night hangout. Here, only one rule applies. Don't let your candle go out unless you want the man in the mirror to find you. 1 year ago, 2 students were killed there in a grisly slaughter. The case has become the focus of a hit podcast, The Suicide House. Though a teacher was convicted of the murders, questions remain. The most urgent, why so many students who survived that horrific night have returned to the boarding house to kill themselves. Rory is working on the podcast with Lane, recreating the night of the killings in order to find the elusive answers. But the more they learn, the more they are convinced that there's a sinister game inside. The sinister game inside Westmont Prep. Hold on, let me reread that. Rory is working on a podcast with Lane, recreating the night of the killings in order to find the elusive answers. But the more they learn, the more convinced they are that the sinister game inside Westmont Prep hasn't ended. It thrives on secrecy and silence, and for its players, there may be no way to win or to survive. It's a thriller mystery type thing. So I'll tell you why this intrigues me. So I live not too far from Cedar Lake, Crown Point kind of area. And there is, I can't remember what city. It was in Crown Point or Cedar Lake. My sister will correct me on this, I'm sure. But one of them actually had a preparatory school, like a fancy school, that has been closed down for years, and it is supposed to be haunted, and there are ghost haunts and all kinds of stuff at this place. I actually think they tore it down a couple years ago, but I remember when I was in high school, people would like get in their cars, drive out to this old abandoned school to see if they could find ghosts in the school. So it kind of makes me think that this person maybe from our area. I should look it up, because this person I'm pretty sure has to be from our area. Yes, he's from Northwest Indiana. I called it. I knew it. He's from Northwest Indiana, and I knew it because this has to be based on that school. Like, it has to be. My sister will figure out the name of it, I'm sure. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember, like, my friends going out there, and I was too chicken, and I never went. Alright, guys. And then I have 3 more. This one I was kind of excited about because it's a mafia romance. Yay! Nico by Sarah Castile. And I've never heard of this author before, so if you guys have read her, yay. But this one's Las Vegas boss Nico Toscani is used to getting what he wants. And then he meets the gorgeous, headstrong Mia Cordano, who's the daughter of a rival crime lord. And basically it's them, like, trying to take over each other's business. They're rivals, and there's a romance that ensues. They said Mafia, and I was sold, so we're going to see if I like it, because you know I love my Mafia romances. And then these two books I found, and I knew they went to, I mean, it's obviously they go together, but I wasn't sure what order they went in, so I found out I have book 1 and book 3, so I'm going to have to figure out if I want to read book 2. Can we just discuss how beautiful this cover is? Like, and even this, like, how nice are these covers? Aren't they pretty? I really like them. So this is a series called The Gentleman of Scotland Yard. And, excuse me, that was lovely. Anyways, it is a historical romance that obviously takes place with Scotland Yard agents. So it takes place in, like, the late 1800s. And each one is about a person. So Affair with Mr. Kennedy. Obviously, it's about Mr. Kennedy. And this one is A Private Duel with Argent Gun. So each one is like an agent uncovering a crime. So like a crime involved, but then falling in love. So one of them, which one is it? This one, the guy is investigating a prima ballerina who has been accused of murder. So he's investigating her for this murder and ends up falling in love with her. Obviously, because it's a romance novel, I don't have to read between the lines to figure that one out. And then this one is... well, I don't know what this one is. Hold up. Oh, she's just a woman who, like, I guess is just helping him solve the crime, from what I get it. Apparently she's just helping him solve this crime and assisting him in the investigation, and they obviously fall in love. But, like, beautiful covers. Who is your cover artist? Because these are pretty. Anyway, book 1 and book 3, I'm going to have to get on her website and figure out which one's book 1 and then see if I can get book 3. But I've never heard of this author before. It's Gillian Stone. I don't know. But these books are older. This one's from 2012 and this one is from also 2012. So I don't know, did she release like all 3 in 1 year? I don't know. It's Simon & Schuster is her publisher. All I know is, like, the covers are beautiful and the description sounded really good. So those are all of the books I bought from Goodwill and all that. And to be honest with you, all of these books were pretty much either a quarter and or 50 cents, except for this one I paid full price for, and it was $12. So, like, $20 for everything. I have a ton of books to read, and I'm excited to get started. Plus, I have some TBRs that I still have not read from before. So I'm going to be reading a lot of books, and I am super excited to read. So that is my super, super long Goodwill / Second and Charles book haul and one Sam's Club. But I'm excited. I love watching book hauls, and I will definitely let you know. Like, I don't even know where to start because so many of them sound good that I don't know where to start, but I'm excited. So anyways, yeah, have you guys had any book hauls lately? What book are you super, super excited to start reading? I don't even know. I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick one. And I will be back next week with my August wrap-up. Hope y'all are doing well. Bye!